don't spend money until you're making money. Teach yourself that at the beginning of your venture, you are not going to spend your money until you're actually making money. What are you going to do? You're going to invest your heart, your hustle, your energy, your drive, your motivation, but you're not investing your money until you're making money. People say, well, don't you need money to make money? Like, no, you don't need money to make money. You need your energy. You need your resourcefulness. As soon as you focus on resources as being the problem, you've lost. It's never a lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness. It's you feeling that it's a lack of resources that is the problem. And that prevents action, that prevents forward motion, because you feel, hey, if I only had X amount of money, then I would be able to do this. There's always a way to start smaller. There's always, today, you could do something today, some small step today, to move one little step closer towards achieving your goals. And it's that inaction due to a lack of resources or perceived lack of resources that prevents people from actually accomplishing their goals and reaching their mission. That's what happens. So there's always a smaller way to get started. And to teach yourself, especially at the beginning, that you want to be more resourceful, that you don't want to spend your money until you're making money. So instead of focusing on how you can spend money that you don't have, think about how can you do something with what you do have. And to invest your heart, your energy, your time, your hustle, your drive, but not your money until you're making money. So how do you do it? What are some of the steps? Well, step one is you dream big, but you act small. Dream big, act small. There's the big mission you've got is amazing. That's what's going to fuel you. You don't want to feel like every day you're waking up and doing something small. You've got this big drive, this big ambition. It's awesome. And act small. Like today, do something. Instead of waiting for venture capital or somebody put you on or to co-sign you, just do something. Dream big, act small. Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 to 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 to 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best.
So today, let's learn from one of the best, Evan Carmichael, and our take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, take control of your thoughts.
Most of us never take control of our self-talk. You don't take control of the thoughts that you have about yourself when you're by yourself. It doesn't even matter as much what our parents think, what our friends think, what our husband or wife thinks. It's you. You're the problem. You think negatively about yourself. You are not consistently filling yourself with thoughts, with positivity, with ambition, with courage. The default pattern is one of mediocrity, of one of I can't do this, one of lack of resourcefulness, and so that's what you live. And it's possible to change. And in making that shift and making that change, you become an entirely different person. We talk about how do you become the best version of yourself? How do you live your life? How do you show up as that proud version? This is it. It's taking control of the automatic self-talk that you have to yourself, even if you don't actually talk to yourself, even if you're not saying, Evan, you're an idiot. Right? Evan, you can't do that. Even if you're not saying those things out loud, you're feeling those things. It's at a subconscious level. And this is where you're playing small and limiting yourself. I am afraid a lot. I'm afraid a lot, and I used to let that fear dominate me. I used to let that fear prevent me from doing the thing that I needed to do, whether it's making videos, whether it's speaking on stage, whether it's interviewing people. I don't believe in being fearless. I think if you're fearless, it means that you are just doing the things that are inside your comfort zone. You're photocopying your life. I think if you're fearless, you actually hate your life because you're just doing things that you know how to do. I think fear is a great thing. It's not being fearless, it's having the fear and then showing up because of. Not even despite of, because of. Because you're afraid, then you have to go do the thing. Because you're worried, then you have to go do the thing. Because you're afraid of somebody's judgment, then you have to go do it just because, just to teach yourself that you do it. So for me, speaking on stage, doing interviews, making videos were the three that I struggled with the most. This is a guy who's made 10,000 videos, has spoken in front of thousands of people, have done interviews with some of the biggest people on the planet. I'm still afraid every time. I'm still afraid every time. And I don't let that fear now stop me from doing the thing. I'm still, I had Tony Robbins on my channel, and I had him on 3 years or 2 years before, but I'm still nervous to have him on. My heart's still beating like crazy. I'm still an emotional wreck the day of. I'm still not focused on anything else. I can't do any other work. I can't make any other videos because I'm stressed about the interview going well. I still worry about these things. It doesn't go away. There's just levels to this. And I still want to show up. Where old Evan, younger Evan used to find a reason why I couldn't do it. Find a reason why I couldn't show up. Live in the fear and justify it as an actual reason or excuse, but deep down, I was just afraid. Think about your reasons. Like, why can't you do this thing? What are you telling yourself that you can't do? Really deep down, it's just a fear. You're just afraid. There's no really good reason. You've convinced yourself there's a reason, but deep down, you're just afraid, right? If you're actually honest with yourself, you're just afraid.
Rule number 3, don't live in regret.
Living in regret sucks. Imagine you are 95 years old, you're looking back on your life at this moment, on this day, realizing that you could have played bigger, you could have done more, you had more potential, you had an opportunity in front of you, you could have done something, and you didn't. You didn't because you were afraid. You came up with some reason that you actually believed that was really an excuse. You played small, you didn't accomplish your goals. Now you're 95 years old and it's over and you can't do it. You're not physically or mentally able to actually do it. The more you can actually feel that today matters, that you want to stop living your life by other people's opinions and stop living with the fear of regret. Stop having that thing hang over your head that you could have done something and you were too afraid to do it. The more you can actually feel that, it can push you to actually take an action, because otherwise you live the life that everybody lives, that most people live. Most people regret their life. Most people regret not the things that they did, but the things that they didn't do. Regret the ideas that you had that then you saw somebody else make a ton of money off of. You regret the conversation that you wanted to take, but you were too afraid to go introduce yourself. Like, we live in this zone of regret. Already you can feel it. Look back to things that happened last year, or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago. Like, you wish that you showed up a certain way. You wish that you had more courage, more boldness, and you didn't do it. You didn't do it. And the point isn't to beat yourself up over that. The point is to use that as courage to go do something today towards accomplishing your goals. I used to use the fear of regret a lot when I was younger, especially, to get myself to take action. The biggest decision of all, the hardest decision of all, was to, when I was 19, not take the $100K a year dream job that I thought I wanted, to go become an entrepreneur, make $300 a month, own 30% of a company. That was the hardest thing ever. And the thing that gave me the courage to do it was the fear of regret. And Jeff Bezos has a great regret minimization framework, he calls it, where basically he tries to project out to being, that old man and living life with as few regrets as possible. So I asked myself, what will I regret more? Will I regret more saying no to my dream job and making 6 figures and traveling around the world? Or will I regret more saying no to this business and just not knowing? And I thought, you know what? I can always go get another job. It may not be the same job. It may not be the same company. It may not be the same opportunity. It may not be as much money. It may not be as much travel. It may not be this perfect job. But I could get another similar job. I felt like I could get another similar job. This business idea, this business opportunity, I didn't know that I would ever have this chance again. And so I said, you know what? Even if the most likely outcome is failure, I didn't think it was going to blow up. I didn't know that it was going to work out or not. Even if the most likely scenario is failure, I still have to do it because I don't want to live with regret. And I told myself I would rather know and fail than not know.
Rule number 4, show empathy.
The number one way to deal with negative people in your life is through empathy. It's empathy. It's not hating them back. It's not spreading negativity. It's not reminding yourself that you're better than them. It's empathy. And it's not even just feeling bad for them. It's actually connecting to them. Let me explain. I default to assuming that people are good. This is a wild idea. People are good. Humans are good. I've done the WHO exercise, the year one word exercise, helping people find the most important core value with so many people. And it's always something positive. I believe that 99.9999999% of people are good. There's a tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people and maybe have a few screws loose up here. But for the most part, we're good. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has ambitions. Everybody wants to serve. Everybody wants to be in a better place than where they are right now. The problem is, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people have tried. They took their shot and it didn't work out. And because they're so in pain, now they don't want other people around them to have success either. Because if they took a shot and it didn't work out, they don't want to own it, that it's on them. But if you then go off and have success, you start achieving your goals, what does that say about them? Right? It's not that the world is rigged against them, it's that they actually suck. And they don't want to admit that, and they don't want to own up to that. And so they're living in pain. And so they take it out on other people. They take it out on you, they take it out on me, they take it out on the world. They take it out on people. Right? That's what people do when they're in a lot of pain. Think about you. Think about your experiences, your life. Think about when you've been in a lot of pain. When you've struggled. Really think about this. The last time that you were struggling in a lot of pain, did you then show up as your best self in all situations? Did you maybe lose your cool on somebody? Did you maybe insult somebody? Did you maybe say something that you're not proud of that you later would regret? Has that ever happened to you? It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're a toxic person. It's not that you're a hater. You were just in a lot of pain. And so the people who are throwing shade at you are in a lot of pain. They're struggling. And just recognizing that, just trying to put yourself in their shoes and look at their life. And if you know them, you can actually look at their life. And if you don't know them, you can assume things about their life. If somebody's coming and leaving a negative comment on your YouTube video, the fact that that is the highlight of their day speaks volumes about them. Right? If the best part of your day is going to somebody's YouTube channel, leaving some nasty comment, that gets you feeling good. You're in a lot of, just imagine the pain that person's in. Imagine what their life is like right now. And it's a bit of a mental exercise because at the beginning, the natural reaction is to be defensive. It's like, well, no, I'm not this. And how could you call me that? And we want the people around us to support us and cheer us on and tell us that we're doing the right thing. So the natural defense mechanism kicks in where we say, no, that's not right. But if you can take a breather, you can take a step back and you can just try to have empathy, try to put yourself in their shoes, try to see that they're in a lot of pain. What it does is removes the sting from the words. It removes the venom from the words. It doesn't get you to react as emotionally. It allows you to show up more as your best self. It's one of the most valuable things you can start to practice. This is one of the things that prevents people from creating content, from posting videos, from sharing their thoughts. You've got a big mission, a message. Your story can change people's lives. Your story can change people's lives. It will change people's lives. And we're afraid to do it because of how people that we don't know or people that we do know will judge us. We're afraid that we're going to get negative comments. And that's the reason why you're not putting your message out there. We have to learn, you have to learn to stop getting in your own way and to start sharing, to start releasing, to start living your life, the life that you want, not somebody else's version of it.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for the habit to stick. That's what I want for you. So I've designed a custom free program where I'm going to send you an unlisted video for the next 254 days to shift your confidence and belief forward. The link to join is in the description below. If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
Don't worry what the first step is. People write in and say, what's my first? It doesn't matter. Something. Do something, and then do something again tomorrow, and do something again the next day, and every day you get a little bit better. They're great because they can help you, one,
navigate the waters of dealing with publishers and creating a proposal that's really going to win, because you might only get one shot with a publisher, especially as a new author. And if your proposal sucks, they likely won't want to look at it again unless you've done something dramatic on your audience size to really build up notoriety around yourself.
Rule number 5, follow the right order.
There's an order to things. There's a sequence to things. Part of the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is they're just not doing the things in the right order. You're trying to tackle that big mission from the start, doing all 30 things at the same time, and not making any money, and not making any momentum, not making any progress, and ultimately not having the impact that you want to have. So out of your 30 ideas, all inside your mission, amazing, which one is actually going to start getting you paid? Because when you can start making money, everything becomes better. Everything becomes easier. You can quit your job, you can pay your bills, you can hire a team, you can have a bigger impact, right? If you had a team of 10 people versus you doing things part-time on the weekends and evenings, you're just gonna have a much bigger impact if you have you working full-time and a team around you. How do you get there? What's the one idea out of the 30?
Rule number 6, catch the pattern.
Catching that pattern. It's like, oh, it happened again. I wanted to go and do this and I didn't do it. Again, I had this opportunity to talk to somebody and I played small. Again, I had this chance and I didn't do it. And you're gonna catch it a day later, a couple days later, and reflect back on it and realize, okay, I should have done it. Next time I'm gonna try to have more awareness. Step 1 is just the awareness game, because the problem is it's so autopilot. We play small by default. Especially if you've been doing it for decades. You play small by default. So it's so ingrained, so natural, so autopilot that we have to slowly shift out of autopilot zone. Eventually what's gonna happen is you're gonna catch it in less than a day. You're gonna catch it a couple hours later. Then you're gonna catch it an hour later. They're gonna catch it 10 minutes later. They're gonna catch it 5 minutes later. And then step number 2 is you're gonna get to this magical moment. You're gonna get to this magical moment where it's about to happen. You've caught it. You've caught your small thinking. You've caught your scared thinking. You've caught your excuses thinking. In the actual moment that it's happening, this is a magical spot right now, because you're actually calling yourself out on your own BS right now. And what you need to do is get enough courage to actually take the action, to pivot courses, to instead of doing what you historically normally would do on autopilot, now we're going to take the other action, the action where you're proud of yourself, the action that you don't want to live in regret. That version of you showing up.
Rule number 7, spend time with yourself.
Spend a little time with yourself and finish the sentence. I am what? I am blank. I am blank. What's the blank? You are what? If you're just by yourself, you have a little space to breathe from your environment, you are what? What are some of the words that come up? What are some of the positive words? And what are some of the negative words that show up? If you're being honest with yourself, there'll be hopefully some positive ones. So for me, it could be I'm someone who believes. I am a great husband. Sean paying attention. I am, a great father. I am a great, not owner. What do you do with dogs? I don't know. A great.
They're still considered your kids.
They're my kids?
Yeah, dog kids, pet kids.
All right. I am, but then on the negative side, like I am afraid of disappointing people. I am scared of speaking on stages. I'm worried that I'm going to ask bad interview questions. Like, what are the positive and negatives if you fill in the I am? Okay, just to get awareness of yourself. This starts to uncover some of the subconscious behavior that you're living on autopilot, right? The subconscious is the autopilot. It's what you're doing by default. The conscious is what we want to take control of, to then turn into subconscious, to then make the automatic, the positive, the ambitious, the bold, the courageous, right? So start with I am. What that does is lead you to step 2, which allows you to identify your trigger words. So what are the trigger words that you use consistently as an excuse for you not to do the thing? So my 3 trigger words are scary, difficult, or hard. That when I say scary, difficult, hard, those used to be the reasons why I couldn't do something. Those used to be the reasons why I would let myself off the hook. Those used to be the things I would tell myself, oh, I can't do this because it's scary. I can't do this because it's difficult. I won't show up because it's hard. And I would let myself off the hook for those things. That I would say, oh, that's okay because it's scary, so I'm not going to do it. And that used to be my identity.
Rule number 8, swim forever.
You want to swim forever. Adopt the mindset that you want to swim forever. Most people, if you're thinking about swimming, you're swimming to reach the island, right? If you're swimming out in the ocean, you're swimming to reach the island. The island is some goal. The island is, I want to hit 1 million subscribers. I want 1 million in revenue or whatever, some arbitrary goal. The goal isn't to hit the island. Your intention shouldn't be to hit the island. It should be to swim. You have to love swimming. You want to swim forever. I want to swim forever. Every now and then, you might need to look back, and see how far you've come. See how far you swam. Every now and then, we need that mindset, that gratitude, that perspective to say, wow, I'm so much further ahead than I used to be, right? A big challenge with achievers is we don't feel like we've done enough. Especially high achievers, you don't feel like you've done enough. And that can often be a drive forward, but sometimes it's so overwhelming that it actually puts you in a negative state where prevents growth. So in those moments, you look back and see how far you swam. It's like, wow, I've come a long way compared to who I used to be. The accomplishments, the belief systems, the mindset, the relationships, like the personal development, how much have you grown? If you actually think about it, how much have you grown in the past 5 years is probably crazy. If you're a fan of this channel, you're watching this video, you've grown a lot in the past 5 years. And every now and then when you're feeling low, you need that perspective shift to look back and see how far you've come. But otherwise, it's forward. Growth, more growth. You want to swim forever. You don't want to hit the island. You want to swim forever. We've all experienced those moments where you hit a goal and then what? What do you feel? You feel a moment of happiness, of accomplishment, and then like, oh, is that all there is? When I hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, like that was the drive, that was the goal. I want to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I wanted to hit it. I don't even remember what the goal. I wanted to hit it before Gary. I wanted to hit 1 million subscribers before Gary Vee, and we did it. And they're like, oh, I'm still the same person. Somehow we feel that when we accomplish something, we're going to feel different. We're going to be different. You're going to be a different person when you hit that goal. And we end up getting confused because it's not even about the goal. You become a different person in the pursuit of the goal. I've studied more successful people than most people, just in the nature of the work that I do. And there's a reason why the number one rule for success over and over and over and over and over and over and over again is you have to love what you do. You have to love the process. Successful people, they love the process. They love the doing. They love the actual showing up every day. I'm sitting here at a Nina's inside there. Can we see? Nina's inside at a T&T. It's a Chinese grocery store. She's inside doing shopping. I'm sitting here in the car making videos. Why? Because I like it. I like the process. It's not about how many subscribers I have on the channel. I like feeling like this matters, that I'm so grateful that thank you. Honestly, thank you for watching this video. I'm so grateful that you're here watching this video, that I could make something from my car that's worthy of somebody else's attention. Thank you. I love this. We've done over 10,000 videos. Why? Because I love it. Like if it's just a strategy, if you're just trying to reach the island, you drown. If you're just trying to reach the island, you drown. You have to love swimming. This is the mistake most entrepreneurs make when they're first getting started, is you're just chasing an opportunity, but you don't actually love the process. This is a great quote, one of my favorite quotes of all time. It's an African saying that beyond the mountain is more mountains. And it's similar to the swimming analogy. Beyond the mountain is more mountains. What do you do when you get to the top of the mountain? There's another mountain to climb. You don't ever want to get to the top of the mountain. Think about it. If you hit the top, you're going to start to hate your life because there's no growth, because we want more growth. We want more learning. We want more progression. If you felt like you hit the top, that's a fast path down to depression. Beyond the mountain is more mountains. It's the greatest quote of all time, at least one of them. I love that one. I think of Ted Turner's father, whose goal was to be a millionaire, and then he hit the million and he killed himself because he thought, he wasn't happy with his life. He wasn't happy with his process. He wasn't happy with what he was doing every day. But if he hit $1 million, then everything's going to change. Then he's going to be a different person. He hit his million. And he was the same person. He wasn't happy. So he killed himself. So Ted Turner, who's, you know, a billionaire, one of the wealthiest people in the world, decided, I'm going to set a goal so big that I'm not going to hit it. And that's the point of having a vision, you know, a mission, like something so big beyond yourself that you never hit it. I want to solve the world's biggest problem, that people don't believe in themselves enough. I'm never going to do that. It's not going to happen, not in my lifetime. And yet I wake up every day trying to make that happen in my lifetime. You have to want to swim forever.
Rule number 9, hold yourself accountable.
Tell the people around you. So Nina stepped out, but Nina, my son, my team, my family, I'll let them know, hey, if I say scary, difficult, or hard, I want you to let me know. If I say to you in any conversation, I can't because it's scary, or it's difficult, or it's hard, I need you to call me out on it. Because I still don't catch all of them. It's a lot more than it used to be. And I'm probably, 90, 95% of the way there, but there'll still be some small percentage. And having people hold you accountable is really important. Now, the default thinking for them is going to be, what are you talking about? You're always doing all of these things. You're always showing up. You're always doing scary, difficult, hard in my case. Yeah, but not like I could be. There's another level to this. And everything I want out of life, my mission, my vision, my boldness is on the other side. My great life is on the other side of even more scary, difficult, and hard. I have to start living it. And so I need help in catching it. So you use yourself as step one, as the first part, but then if you can, as a bonus, bring in the accountability to the other people in your life who can help you catch it. And you're not allowed to get angry at them. You're not allowed to get frustrated at them. If you say one of your trigger words and they say, you just said it, you're going to want to say, nah, but it doesn't count. It doesn't mean it. I was thinking something. Stop letting yourself off the hook. Instead, you say, you're right. And then you go do the thing. And the more you can train that, trigger word came up, I'm doing the thing. Trigger word came up, I'm doing the thing. Trigger word came up, I'm doing the thing. It's scary, I'm doing it. It's difficult, I'm doing it. It's hard, I'm doing it. Just because you start shifting your identity. You start changing your self-talk. Now you start to become the person that you're proud of. You start to become the person that you say you want to be. You start to actually become the person. You've become the best version of you.
And rule number 10, before some very special bonus clips, inflict pain.
Inflict so much pain on yourself, a future regret, that if you don't do this thing, how painful it's going to be for you, how you're going to regret it your entire life, that it forces you into action to do the thing that will make yourself proud, that will build the life you want, that will help create the dream that you know you're capable of doing.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? The science says that when you just watch a video, you get motivated, you get inspired, you have a 35% chance of following through on your goals. 35%! That's not enough. That's not enough just to get motivated. Believe Nation, we're here. You're here. Today matters. You're an action taker. When you commit to a plan of action of when and how you're going to follow through, when you write it down, you have a 91% chance of following through. And when you commit publicly to somebody else, it jumps to 95% chance. From 30-something% to 95% chance of you following through. Believe Nation, we need to make this happen. So question of the day, your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action specific for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and I'm going to show on screen sometime next week to celebrate you.
Actually look at your life and do you enjoy what you're doing? People ask me, do I burn out in what I'm doing? Like, I don't burn out. I like it too much. Like this, making these videos, I'm going to go home after this and make more videos probably. But this video that I'm making for you right now is not draining or depleting of my energy. It's contributing to my energy. I am manufacturing energy by doing this. So that's why it's easy to do 10,000 more videos, because it gives me more than I give to it. I get more energy as a result of doing this. I'm going to be a better entrepreneur, a better husband, a better father, a better boss, a better teammate, a better mentor as a result of making this video. It gives me energy. Look at your work. That's how you avoid burnout. If I was doing things that sap my energy, if I was in charge of like washing these cars, I'd be burnt out in 5 hours. I would hate my life because I don't enjoy washing cars. I don't enjoy cars, really. So look at your schedule. Do a nice audit on your life. How many of the activities that you're doing every day are giving you energy versus taking away energy? How many of the people that you're spending time with are giving you energy versus taking away energy? And you need to start shifting from, I'm just gonna chase an opportunity, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. You won't. Hey, newsflash, you won't do whatever it takes. Not if you don't like it. Not if you don't love it. You won't do whatever it takes because you don't love it. And that's okay. Stop judging yourself for not working hard enough. You're not lazy. It's not that you don't want to work hard. You just don't like the thing that you're doing. This doesn't feel like work to me. So it's getting honest with yourself. It's doing an audit. It's looking at your calendar. Are you genuinely excited about the things you're about to do today and tomorrow? And if not, then we have to start to shift out of them, right? Do the things that give you energy instead of taking away.
When you understand what your single most important core value is, everything else becomes so much easier. So for me, it's belief, right? Belief is my single most important core value. How does that help? Well, with every decision that I make, it's seen through the lens of belief. Every video content that I make is about belief. It has to be. Every interaction I have, every workshop, every book, every meeting, all of it has to be run through the belief framework, right? The glasses of belief. If I'm hiring somebody onto my team, skills alone aren't enough. It's great that you can write copy. Do you believe in entrepreneurs? It's a big difference. So when you understand your core value, everything else becomes clearer and you're less likely to follow what other people want you to do. Everybody around you, they have a goal for you, even if it's well-intentioned. They have opinions on what you should do with your life. Everybody around you. This is what you should do with your life. Everybody has an opinion. You don't know which way to go? If you don't know which way to go, it's because you don't know what you stand for, because you're standing on quicksand. But when you understand your one word, your who, your most important core value, it's like you're standing on a rock that nobody can push you from. So how do you figure that out quickly, right? I mean, this is 200 something pages. Let's boil it down super quick for you. You want to think about all the people that you love. Your favorite teacher, what you loved about your parents. Think about your favorite musician, your favorite band, your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite book, all your favorite things. The thing that when you are around, consuming it, reading it, being with them, it makes you feel bold, alive, amazing, confident, unstoppable, right? We've all had those moments. It's just not consistent enough yet. We're gonna make it for you. It's just not consistent enough yet. And so write down a list of 5 to 10 things that make you come alive. Again, people, your favorite teacher, movies, all of those things that make you, that you love, like you could get lost spending time with them or reading them or listening to them. Then write down 3 keywords that describe each of them. So your favorite teacher, why did you love Mr. Jones? It's not because he taught you grade 4 math, right? There was something else about Mr. Jones that you love. Why do I love Seabiscuit, the movie? Because it's about an oversized jockey and an undersized horse and an owner that has no money and all of these things, and they all come together. It's belief, right? My parents taught me that I'm Evan Carmichael and I can do anything that I believe that I can, right? And so through all the things that I love, belief is the common thread. What is it for you? You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. It doesn't have to take you years of work. Just write down all of the people and the things that you love, 3 keywords for each. Like, do this. This is important. Just do it today. It'll make a huge difference in your life. It's worth it. This is the best 15 minutes you can spend in your life. Do it. Pause the video and do it. And then just see what comes up consistently. What word comes up over and over and over and over and over and over again? Chances are that's your one word. That's your who. Then when you discover it, you have to start living that life. The reason most people don't win isn't because you don't have great ideas. You're a genius. The only thing missing is momentum. You're dreaming huge. That's amazing. I love it. But there is 0 momentum. It's never going to be the right time and nobody is coming to save you. The time is now to make your dreams happen. So here's a really fun example. Yesterday, I needed to take a break from my work to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, open up my Feedly and start looking at, some of the news stories that were happening. And there was this amazing video that I saw about a busker in Toronto who a company organized what they called a cash mob instead of a flash mob, where they would all show up at this guy doing his guitar singing, playing, and just throw money at him. Not at him, but in the guitar case, right? And they probably made like $1,000. They were throwing 20s and 50s, not just pennies and dollar bills and stuff. But giving him tons of money, and he's starting to get overwhelmed. He's playing the guitar, he's getting overwhelmed, and I'm getting motivated and excited and just heartfelt. What a great moment. And I decide in that moment, we need to make this video more public. We need to spread it. This has to go up on the channel. I need to spread awareness. I want to promote this company who put this together. I love it. What a great idea. And so right away, like, here's the thing. You get a great idea. Trust your great ideas. Go do something about it. I could have easily filed that away. Next week I'll work on it. And then guess what's going to happen next week? I'm not going to work on it because I'm going to move on to something else, right? I'm in the middle of my day. I've got priorities and a plan for that day. And then this thing pops up. I trust that idea, trust that it's great, and that I gotta do something about it. Because if I'm inspired, if you're inspired, you're gonna create gold. You're gonna create magic. If you're not inspired, then just keep doing the work that you're doing. Hopefully it's not depressing and negative. It's just you're creating. It's amazing. You're in your flow. But when something new comes up that you're super excited about, I think you need to follow that through. And so I parked a little chunk of my day yesterday to then make that video. And I made the ending, and I made the thumbnail, and I made the description, and I made the title, and I created it all in one shot, and I sent it off to my editor, Christina. We love you, Christina. To say, hey, we got to put this up on the channel. Find a time. This is not scheduled in my usual content calendar, but let's find a time and put it up, right? And that maybe took, I don't know, half an hour. It took half an hour out of my day that I was supposed to do other stuff to make that happen. Because momentum matters. Momentum matters. It's the most important thing. You're a genius. The ideas that you have are gold. They're genius. You're just not doing enough with it. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What I took away most from that definition is the word progressive. You want progress. You want to learn. You want to keep growing. What was once a challenge for you is now simple, and it's very easy to fall into a routine that once served you but is now limiting you. The day you stop progressing is the day that you start to hate your life, and it can be sneaky. It can sneak up on you without you even noticing what happened. So I was trying to think of a personal story to share with you about this, and I realized it's been more than 10 years since I've actually felt that. I felt that I've stopped progressing, that I started to hate what I was doing. It's been over 10 years. It was basically since I started on YouTube, and I'm going to share with you the hacks that I used so that you won't fall into that rut. But what happened for me 10 years ago was I built my website, right? I sold my business, I had success, I was speaking around the world. I started building my website, and I built it into a giant platform. We had 100,000 plus pages of content, making money from advertising, and I just stopped liking the business. It started to feel like we're putting out content, we're putting out articles, just trying to make money, putting out articles that I didn't always believe 100% in. We had a bunch of guest people writing content, right? We had 4,000 or 5,000 authors for the website, and not all of their opinions or views or mindset or voice reflected my own. And I just stopped liking the business. It was a successful business, making money, building a team. I had 8 people, I think, at that time. And I decided, you know what, I'm losing the love for this. I need to try new things. And I started making YouTube videos. It was one experiment. I probably did a bunch of different things, but YouTube was one experiment that I sucked at, but I loved, and I kept coming back to. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me that you need to explore. This is what I tell a lot of people when they're entrepreneurs. I had a woman, Melissa, who joined me on an IG Live the other day, and she's talking about how she's got a real estate business that's making her money, but she wants to be a speaker. And the speaking business is growing. It can't support her fully yet, but the real estate business gives her a lot of money. She's like, well, I like doing both. It's like, well, no, you don't. Right? Like, in 5 years, where do you want to be? Do you want to still be doing real estate? No, 5 years, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be doing the speaking thing. Like, great. That's where you need to start spending more of your time. It doesn't mean quit the job. It doesn't mean stop doing real estate or stop doing the thing that you're just okay with. But while you still have one foot in it, you have to explore, you have to try, you have to taste, you got to see what else you can do. Spend 1 day a week, 2 days a week, depending on your financial situation. This is my advice to her. Spend 1 day or 2 days a week focusing on the speaking business so that in 6 months you could be out of the real estate business and be in speaking full time. And then doing the thing that you love, right? If you just like it, that should be a warning sign to get out. Not ASAP, but you need to start exploring. But so many people end up hating the thing that they're doing. So many entrepreneurs start a business, they love it, it's challenging, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and then they found that they bought themselves a job and they actually hate their business. And then it becomes too late to get out because you can't find the person to sell it to, or you just have to walk away from it. You don't win a Nobel Prize by telling yourself that you want to win a Nobel Prize. You win a Nobel Prize by having a mission so big that it forces you to become somebody new. A stronger, more bold, more resilient version of you. If you make success your goal, you will most likely miss it because you have the wrong outcome in mind. Make impact your goal. Make your mission your goal, and you'll end up having more success than you ever thought possible. I look at my YouTube channel as an example, and the next goal would be to have 10 million subscribers, right? I got my 100,000 plaque. I got 3 of them there. I got my million plaque. The next goal is 10 million. And there's nothing wrong with having goals, but the problem is if I made 10 million the thing, like all I'm doing is chasing down 10 million subscribers, it forces you to do short-term decisions that end up not serving you, right? If I wanted to just blow up my channel, the best way to do it isn't actually to spread positive content. Negativity spreads much faster than positivity. If I made a top 10 video on why this person sucked, or an express about how this person's an idiot, or people fighting, people can't help but see that. That's why people stop to see the car accident on the highway, right? We don't reward the good drivers. You want to see the chaos. You want to see what caused the flame. There's a fight on a street corner. You stop to see what's going on, right? We're attracted to the negativity more than the positivity. That's a faster way to blow up my channel. The problem is, I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to spread conflict and chaos. I don't want to spread pessimism. I don't want to spread despair. I don't want to spread ego. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to do that. And so it would lead to me flaming out before I ever hit the goal. That's the problem. You can have this goal. This is what most people do. You have some goal. Here's my goal. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. The problem is you won't do whatever it takes because it's going to get too hard. You can only do things for so long that you don't love before you quit and give up. And so there's nothing wrong with having a goal, but more important than the goal is the mission. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. It's something that's never going to happen. Never. In my lifetime, it's never going to happen. I want people to believe in themselves more. It's never going to hit that ultimate goal where everybody is Michael Jordan at something. It will never happen. And I wake up every day trying to do that. And so if you make a goal tied to some outcome, like getting 10 million subscribers on YouTube, it's going to force you down a path that likely won't serve you. So you lead with the mission, you lead with the impact, and success will follow. The difference in people is their standards. The world is full of people who started with less than what you already have right now, and they're winning. And too many people are out there complaining. Complaining that you don't have the money, that you don't have the time, that you don't have the experience, that you don't have the personality for it. All legitimate, logical reasons. But others have done it with those very same circumstances as you, with worse circumstances than you. The difference is they have a higher standard for themselves. And today, we're gonna raise yours. One of the things I'm most proud about for myself, why do I love Evan Carmichael, is because when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it, especially when it gets hard. Like, it doesn't count until it gets hard. And I'm doing it not just for other people. I'm doing it not just because I promised you that I would show up. I'm doing it for myself because I said I was gonna do something and then I go off and do it. This is the foundation of self-esteem, of self-confidence, of self-love, doing it when you say you're gonna do it. And so on Monday, I usually have a 2-hour walking meeting with Alex. Alex helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. He comes over, Monday's my mentoring day, and we'll usually go for a 2-hour walk around the city. And it's starting to get cold. You know, it's winter time here, it's getting cold. And so we bundle up and we go for our 2-hour walk while we talk and while we meet. I'm trying to do walking meetings more, just for my own health and just for the challenge of it, because it's easy to start something like that in the spring or in the summer. It's really hard to do it when it's in the winter and you live in Toronto, Canada, and it's snowing and cold, right? So this Monday, Alex was sick. He still came in, he was sick, he was running a bit of a fever, not crazy sick, but just sick. And Nina, my wife, super caring, said, hey, maybe you shouldn't go for a walk outside. And my heart's just like, come on, no, we have to. I said I was gonna do it, right? I have to, for myself, I have to go on the walk. Like, I'll go on the walk and leave Alex at my place and and just film the meeting with him. But we came up with a different solution, which was I live in a condo. We have a gym in my condo, and we went down to the condo gym, and I walked on the treadmill while he stood or sat next to me for 2 hours because I said that I was going to do it. How important is that 1-2 hour walk? Not much, right? In itself, not much. Am I going to get healthy from doing that one walk? No. Am I going to lose weight by doing that one walk? No. I'm going to have so much more mental clarity by doing that one walk? Of course not. But it's the whole game because you're teaching yourself that you follow through. You're teaching yourself that you have high standards. You're teaching yourself that when you say you're going to do something, you follow through because life is coming for you with a ton of roadblocks. Life is going to throw tons of curveballs at you. If you can only do the thing that you said you were going to do when it's easy and the path is perfectly clear, you're never going to do it. This is why people don't stay consistent, because as soon as life gets hard, you let yourself off the hook. You allow your standards to drop to say, oh, it's okay. Yeah, of course I can't go for a walk because Alex is sick, right? And there are definitely legitimate times when you should let yourself off the hook. If I was dying in bed with a fever and I couldn't get out of bed, I wouldn't go for the walk. That makes sense. Don't be stupid. There's times when you need to be gentle on yourself. But more often than not, we are too gentle on ourselves when we shouldn't be. I could have done the walk, and we did it. We did it in the gym downstairs, and Alex stood next to me and sat next to me and didn't have to go outside and get the cold on him, and I still got my walk in, right? And I feel great about it because I did it when it was hard, because here's this obstacle that life's throwing at me. Here's an easy way when everybody around me is saying, you don't have to go off and do it. And a little tiny voice inside my own head saying, okay, well, here's a chance. You don't have to do it. Like, no, be quiet, voice. I'm doing it. We're finding a solution. Let's go. And the solution is going to walk on the treadmill downstairs. What matters is that you're productive, that you get results, that you stop wasting time. Too many people default to thinking that if they just wake up an hour earlier, they're gonna be way more productive. If you're not productive in a 16-hour day, what makes you think that you're gonna be more productive in a 17-hour day when you have less sleep? So this is a interesting message and timing for me right now because I love beating the sun up. I love it. I love working. I like, it's my default state. If Nina is off on a Friday night with her friends or something, 80% chance I'm working. I love it. I look forward to it. When I go close my eyes, I can't wait for it to be the next day. Like, I'm pumped to go off and do the work. I recently did a sleep study, and my doctor was concerned I wasn't getting enough quality sleep. So I went to go do a sleep study, and the doctor, after going through the results, told me that I need to be sleeping 8.5 hours to 9 hours a night. And it like super disappointed me. 8.5 hours to 9 hours? Are you kidding me? I was trying to go from 8 to 7. I was waking up after 8 hours sleep and feeling still a little bit tired. And so that's why my doctor recommended even going to the sleep study. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I hack it to get down to 7 and still be fully functional, not be, lazy and slow and not having my cognition. And yeah, he said I need to be sleeping 8.5 to 9 hours a night. And he said, is that normal? Like, are you not worried? He's like, no, as long as you're under 10, it's normal. People range from 6 to 10 and they're totally fine. Like, this sucks. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I'm still looking at how can I hack my sleep more, and we've tried a lot. I have the chili pad. We've got, meditation before sleeping. I'm lying on the bed of nails with the thing behind me, the pillow, the nail pillow. No, phones or computers X amount of time before going to bed. Red light filters on everything. Red lights, no lights at all in the place, right? Like just these real red lights glowing around after sunset. Lots of it. Cool down the temperature, I don't know, all of it. Don't eat past 8 o'clock, no caffeine past 2 o'clock, all of it. I'm doing all of that stuff, all of it, right? Plus probably a lot more stuff. I've studied and hacked away. I still believe there's a lot more hacking. I still want to get it from 9 to 7. But if I'm at 9 and I need 9, I think you should get 9. I'm at the point now where if I wake up and the sun is still not up, I stay in bed. And that's actually boosting of confidence. It's like, okay, so I wake up and sun hasn't come up yet. Okay, this is hard. This is difficult. It's difficult for me to not get out of bed. I'm gonna stay in bed just because. Now I'm a weird duck, so maybe this works for you, maybe it doesn't. But I was having a great conversation with Jeremy, who's on my team, who I've invested in his business. He's helping companies scale their YouTube channels, and he was going through the same thing where he was feeling a little tired in the afternoon. He wanted to nap on some afternoons, and that's never been me. So, dude, you just try waking up without an alarm. And normally he's up at 4:30 in the morning or something.
So just wake up without an alarm and see how it goes. And he ended up sleeping for 9 hours and hating himself for doing it. It's like, dude, maybe you need 9 hours. Like, much more important than that extra hour or two is what are you doing during the day? If you're losing energy during the day and you want to nap every afternoon, you're not being productive. Like, there's no way. Sleep and be productive. You need sleep to win. I think everybody should get a sleep test. I think it's a brutal experience. You barely sleep, right? When you're there, you got stuff up your nose and a million sensors all over you. But to know how much sleep you actually need, and making sure that you're productive during the time that you are awake. That's the most important thing. That you are productive during the time that you are awake is way more important than if you wake up before the sun gets up. If you are doing something new, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that you're not good at yet, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that goes against the status quo, you are going to get rejected. So you have two choices. Live a life with zero growth and never get rejected, or chase your dream, deal with the rejection that comes, and go change the world. I have rejection all the time in my life. From little rejections of making videos that don't pop to bigger rejections of projects that I care deeply about that just don't fly and people don't accept at the beginning. I look at this, Built to Serve. This is a great example. Built to Serve is my new book coming out. If you want to pre-order it, in the description there's a link, go get it. Tons of bonuses, looking forward to it. This book I'm insanely proud of. I think it's life-changing. I mean, it should be. I think the work that you create should be life-changing, but I poured so much into this and I think people need to read it. Like, I desperately think that this book will change a lot of people's lives. It could change your life. I believe it's not just hyperbole. Like, I truly, fundamentally believe it. When I came up with the idea, I was on my tour earlier this year and I did not have time to write it, right? I was on my tour, I'm behind on everything, a million things being thrown at me, meeting people, doing my events, seeing the cities, and I just decided I have to write this book because of all the feedback I was getting from people. It was all the one-on-ones I was doing with people. The same questions kept coming up. How do I find my purpose? How do I know who I am? How do I turn into a business? And so that's the point of the book, figuring out what your purpose is and how to use that to then serve the world, right? It's called Built to Serve. And make it into a business so you can make money doing it and build a team and go off and live your mission. When I first pitched my publisher on it, they didn't want it. They didn't want my book, right? So Your One Word is down here. That's with Penguin Random House, and Penguin passed. So they had my first deal with Penguin Random House. Typically how they'll do deals, especially with first-time authors, is you get a deal and then they have the right of first refusal on your next book. So as soon as I get my next book, they get the right to look at it first before I give it to anybody else, right? So that's why I signed. So like, okay, here we go. Let's go. It's a perfect fit. I mean, it follows really nicely with Your One Word. Let's go, right? And they said, no, we're gonna pass. I'm like, yeah, what? How do you pass? This is better than Your One Word. I mean, I love Your One Word. It's great. But this is the whole thing. How do you pass on this? It's just. And we had to wait because it's 30 days and all these, anyway, legal stuff. So then we started looking at other companies. We started looking at other publishing houses. And there were other ones that seemed to line up really well with the content that they had, the author lineup that they had. And almost everybody except the last one, right, said no. And I mean, like, I got a big YouTube channel. We have momentum. We already have our first book. We're like, why? And all sorts of different reasons, you know, just not doing personal development books anymore, not whatever. Nobody came out and said like, we hate you, Evan. So maybe, hopefully that's not the reason. And then we found one that picked it up. It's like, okay, let's go. And if that one didn't pick it up, then we would have kept looking for more publishers, or I would have just made it myself, just self-publish it, put it out, right? What do you do when the people around you don't accept what you have, when you want to take something in a new direction? I could have done something else. I could have done something easier. If I just did a book about Jack Ma, right, and his rules for success, that would be easier to pick up than this, which I talk about on the channel, but it's not the main thesis of the channel. But that's what I want to make, and that's what I'm going to make. Whether it's I get a publisher or we're going to, create it myself, it's going to be birthed into existence because I decided so. And just taking that mindset and approach, you have to. If you love the thing, if you're doing something different, then you have to keep going when people say that I don't want to pick it up, that it sucks, that it's stupid, that maybe it's even a great idea, but you're not the person who's going to do it, right? You have to keep going. I think judging yourself is actually great. I think you need it. I think it's healthy. I think people should be harder on themselves. The problem is people can't handle being even a little bit harder on themselves because they're already at the point of being depressed or even suicidal. The secret starts with self-love. Your self-love has to equal your self-criticism. You have to be your biggest fan as well as your biggest critic. The root problem isn't judging yourself, it's not loving yourself. One of the challenges I think of being human is we are social animals. We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We need each other. We want to belong. We want to be part of tribes. We want to do things together, right? We want to be around other people. So that makes us want to fit in. And that makes us play small, worry about what people think about us, because if we don't do the thing that they want us to do, they might judge us and kick us out of the tribe. The good news is there's so many different tribes you can do now, right? There's so many different people that it may not be your friends that you have right now. It may not be your parents or your family or your community right now. But whatever you want to do, there is a group of people who believe the same things you believe, who think the same way you think. And I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is whenever you feel the eyes of potential judgment, for something that you want to do, you have to go off and do it just to show yourself. Comparison to other people, I think, is actually a good thing. I think you need it. I think it helps you. I think it serves you. The problem is most people look at other people, start feeling insecure, and then kick themselves down. The key is to kick yourself forward, not down. But you need that kick. Otherwise, you stay where you are. This is one of the reasons why I love Modeling Success, why I created all my YouTube channels and all the content that I've done and have the people behind me on the wall, because I love looking at other people. I love learning from other people. I love seeing somebody do amazing things and say, that's what's possible. This is what's possible. I look at Les Brown as an example, and I think he's the greatest speaker of all time, at least that I've seen. Maybe the ancient Greeks were better, I don't know, but Les Brown, modern era, on video, I think is the greatest speaker. And I look at that and say, that's what's possible. Not that I can't do that. Here's what most people do. They look at Les Brown and say, well, I can't do that. And then they start feeling insecure, and I'm just an imposter trying to be like that now. And then they quit. And then they feel low self-esteem, and they beat themselves up over it because they're not Les Brown. I look at Les Brown and say, that's what's possible. This is what humans can actually accomplish and achieve. I want some of that. I want to get better. I want to drive and improve, not to be the next Les Brown, but be the best me. But this is what's possible. I look at David Goggins. Man, David Goggins, look, he came out of nowhere. Who was David Goggins? Did you guys know David Goggins 5 years ago? No. He blew up out of nowhere because of the passion and intensity and truth of his message, right? I love that. And it's easy to say and look at that and say, well, look at how passionate David Goggins is and look how he blew up. I can never do that. I'm not as strong as him. I'm not as crazy as him. I don't have the same mindset as him, and so I can't do that. And you compare yourself to Goggins, and then you say, well, I can't, and so you don't start. That's the problem. You should look at Goggins and say, look at what's possible. You could come from nowhere, nobody knowing who you are, and in a short amount of time, blow up. Because you have a message that matters. You can look at how passionate he is about his message. Every video, he's got insane passion, right? This guy, he's not gonna give you nice hugs and compliments, but he cares about his message, right? You can see that. And you can take that as what's possible. You can care deeply about your message too and model David Goggins and apply that to make your message stronger and better. I think if you just were competing with yourself, I think you're actually gonna suck. I think if you're the best at something and you don't have any competition, I think you actually suck. Being the big fish in a small pond actually limits a lot of creativity, limits your ability to go off and crush things. I think it is. I think when you even in animals, when you see animals going up against each other in a race, when somebody's close, you work a little bit harder. Right? I think we need that in our ecosystem. The key though, again, is to make sure you're kicking yourself forward, to say this is what is possible. Not this person's so much better than me, I suck, feeling insecure, feeling depressed. You need the kick. Just make sure you're kicking yourself forward, not down. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not your fault that you were born broke, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It's not your fault that you had no education, but it's your responsibility to learn it. It's not your fault that you had no connections, but it's your responsibility to make them. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're gonna win. So I recently posted to my YouTube community tab a quote about momentum. I think people don't have momentum, and I think the path to get momentum is to do work for free for ideal clients until you can prove your value and then they pay you. So here's what I wrote. I wrote, if you have no momentum, no traction, no clients, and start for free, prove your worth and build momentum. Give them something they can't wait to have again and pay for this time, #believe. And every time I write, there's always tons of great positive feedback. But this time, somebody wrote a kind of negative comment, and so I wanted to read it because it's highly applicable in this video. He said, Kitch, I don't know about some of your advice. Everything is my fault and work for free. To which I reply, yes, when you embrace those two, you'll start crushing your goals. It's a hard message to take on, right? Whether everything is your fault, everything is your responsibility, where you are right now, it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about saying, I suck and I can't get out. It's saying, listen, this is what happened to me. That's the past. The past doesn't have to equal to the future. Everything that I was born into and the circumstances that I grew up with, they don't have to be where I go going forward. Look at all your heroes. Look at the people who've made huge inroads, changed the world, the people that you look up to and aspire to be like. Very few of them were born super wealthy. Most of them had a worse upbringing than you did, and they could make it, so why can't you? You're just locked in your story. Too many people are locked into their story. They're not taking responsibility. You're not saying, this is my problem to get out of. I wasn't put here, right? You've been drafted into a war that you did not start. You were put here. And you have to survive. And then you have to learn to thrive. And it's that decision that you are in charge, that you're responsible, that if you go to the mirror and you say, why am I not achieving my goals? Why am I not further ahead? As long as you're blaming somebody else, that might keep you comfortable. Keeps you comfortable, it means you don't have to do anything, right? You're not winning because your mom, hit you. You're not winning because your dad never supported you, right? You're not winning because the school system sucks. As long as there's somebody else to blame, it's comforting. And everybody else around us are doing the same thing. Nobody's taking accountability. Everybody's saying it's somebody else's fault, right? Of course. It's not your fault that you're losing, because then you have to do something about it. And even if you're not losing, you're not hitting the goals as hard as you should. And it's so much easier to put the blame on somebody else and say, well, it's that person's fault. Where really, it's the person in the mirror. It's you, it's me. I am not further ahead in my business, on my YouTube channel, not because of the YouTube algorithm, not because my team didn't deliver the right video on time. Me, I'm the problem. It's my fault. It's my responsibility, right? I have to go fix it. I created this mess. It's not a mess, it's amazing, but I'm not at 10 million subscribers because of me. It's not that people don't want to watch the content and people don't want to be inspired. It's me. I need to get better. I need to improve. And even if it wasn't my fault, just taking that on gives you hope that you can change it. And as soon as you start putting, not even the blame. I think blame is not, I don't think blame helps. I don't care who to blame. I care how do we fix it, right? If there's a problem that happens in my business, it's not like who screwed up. I don't care who screwed up. I care what are we gonna do to make sure that we can get out of this hole and that it doesn't happen again the next time, right? Taking personal accountability for where you're at. If you have not hit your goals, this is good news. You can, but nobody's coming to save you. Nothing's gonna magically change around you. You're the change. You will make the change. You can go make it happen. If I wanna grow my business bigger, I need to accept that I need to grow bigger. Me, personally, Evan Carmichael. It is my fault, it is my responsibility. I am to blame. And use that as a kick forward to say, great. Like at the beginning, it may suck. Say, oh man, I've wasted how many weeks, months, years going down the wrong path, just casting blame on other people, realizing now it's my fault. Okay, well, what can you do about it? Now you can change it. Like at the start, the realization sucks, but then it's also the greatest thing of all time. If you're coming out from under the rock and realize, oh my God, this is all my fault, that gives you the power to fix it. Because as long as you're relying on somebody else to do something and they don't show up, you can constantly blame them, but you're never growing, you're never accomplishing anything because you're waiting for them. You don't have to wait for anybody. It's just you. And you can fix it. You have the strength, you have the power, you're Michael Jordan, you have the abilities, you have the skill set, and if you don't have it yet, you can develop it, you can acquire it. Because your heroes did it, and you can too. Whatever you want to learn, you can learn. Public speaking, selling, being a YouTuber, anything. If you want to learn it, there is nothing stopping you except your story. Because you tell yourself that you're too young, that you're too old, it's too late, you're too broke, you don't have the resources, you don't have the connections, you don't have the education, you don't have the right family. There's always a story. You have not learned the skills that you want and need because you've told yourself that you can't. And that's the mindset shift that needs to change now. So I recently made a rap video on my channel. There was a Chinese song that I became obsessed with for some reason. I was looking up Chinese music for my wife. I found this one song, I loved it. It got stuck in my head. And then for whatever reason, I'm lying in bed. We go to bed at around 10:30, 11, and lyrics just start popping to my head. I don't understand what the Chinese song's about, but lyrics start popping to my head about a rap. So as they come in, I start writing it down. I try to go back to sleep. More lyrics come, I write it down, go back to sleep. I send myself emails because that's how I get it out of my system. It gets to 3 something in the morning, 3:30, close to that. And like, you know what? I'm still getting these ideas. I'm just gonna get up and do it. I'm gonna get up and rap. I'm gonna make this rap video. I'm gonna finish off the lyrics and then I'm gonna spend my day making a rap video. It's not how I wanted to plan my day. It was not on my calendar. I was supposed to be sleeping, but I'm gonna wake up and do this rap. We put it all together, did a whole bunch of takes, sent it to Christina to help me edit it. And then the next day, boom, final version was up on the main channel. Now, I don't pretend to have amazing rap skills, right? I think the lyrics are fire. I think the song is amazing. I think Christina did the best she could with what I gave her. And I think the rap was pretty good. I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for, in that short amount of time, how good a product I made. I'm emotional, I'm committed, I'm connected to the song, and I'm yelling by the end of the song. Now at the same time, people are leaving comments. Some people love it and calling me, you know, Evan M instead of Eminem. Some people are loving it just because it's me, and some people are nice, saying, you know what, you're not really a rapper, but good effort, way to put yourself out there. Very kind comments. Here's the thing, I could be a great rapper. I may not be top 1% rapper, but if I practice something, I could be great at it, just like you. You could be a great rapper. Why can't you be a great rapper? I think the lyrics are fire. I practiced for one day and made a video, and that's what came out. If I practiced every day making rap, I could crush it. Just like making my YouTube videos. I sucked at the beginning. I'm a better rapper now than I was a YouTuber at the very beginning of my career. Go back and watch the first video. I sucked. I was shy, introverted, you know, scared of the camera, all of it. And so the audacity to believe that I could be a rapper, right? Doesn't make sense. Well, how does that make sense? Just because I have Kanye West on my wall, now I can be a rapper, right? This is what other people will tell us, and this is what you'll tell yourself. I can't be a rapper. Well, why not? You just don't believe in yourself enough. You can do it. Just practice. Get mentors, practice, put in the work. You can get great at anything. It's a skill. It's just a skill. It's a skill that anybody can learn. Most things are just a skill that anybody can learn, right? To make a great cup of coffee, I suck at it, but I can pick it up. I feel like I can pick it up. It's a skill anybody can learn. There are very few things, very, very, very few things. There are some things that require, you know, a certain amount of athleticism, but Spud Webb could dunk. You know, there's a few things, right? If you are 95 years old and want to be a quarterback in the NFL, that's probably not going to happen. But we easily jump to those exceptions. Meanwhile, the thing that you need to learn that will help you get to where you want to go, that thing, that skill set is totally learnable. There's no reason why you can't do it. There is no reason why you can't do it. So I believe I could be a great rapper. I may not win, you know, a Grammy, I may not win awards for it, but I could be a great rapper. I could. And so can you. You could be a great rapper. You could be a great entrepreneur. You can be a great YouTuber. You can be a great pianist. You can be a great anything. It's a skill. And with practice and repetition and love and execution and dedication and 6,000 attempts later, you can be great at it. The single greatest thing that you can do to improve the quality of your life is to take responsibility for it. No more blaming your parents or the country or the government or your family or your community or your education. No more blaming other people. It's you. It's you. It may not be your fault where you are right now, but it is your responsibility alone to fix it. You didn't pick where you started, but you can choose where you end up. It's up to you. So I remember growing up, my parents were very hardcore in education. You see my parents behind me here. I'm 8 or 9 here, these are my parents. And we were a middle-class family. We weren't poor by any stretch, but we also, you know, we're not rich. And my parents invested basically everything they had into our education. They put us all in the private schools, and taking 3 kids into private schools was a giant chunk of the income that they made. And so we didn't spend money on a lot of other stuff. I remember driving into my school, and all of the friends, all the other people at the school had all these fancy cars that when they turn 16, they're given a Mercedes or BMW from their family. And my family had a Reliant K car that kind of made a bunch of noises as it came into the school that was, I don't know however many years old, just because my family prioritized education, and we were playing in a league that was maybe above our means, but they valued that so much, and then we took a hit on other things. And I remember I used to get made fun of for the car, and I never went on the vacations that they went on, and I didn't have the fancy watches and all that other stuff. And there was one friend of mine who was kind of in a similar boat, where his parents weren't making a lot of money, invested everything that they had into his education too. And so we quickly became friends as I guess the poor kids at the school. But it's funny now because I never blame my parents. I'm super grateful for the opportunities. I mean, why I have them up on my wall, that they invested so much and that they cared. And it's on me. Like, if my business doesn't work out, it's not their fault, right? Up until, you can potentially move out. I don't know what age you want to say, if it's 14, 15, 16, 18, but after a certain age, you're an adult. You have to take responsibility for your life. The only thing missing in your life is momentum. You're a genius. You've got great ideas. You are the Michael Jordan of something. The only thing that is stopping you is your ability to do difficult things and start building momentum. I think for so many people, it's not just doing the thing that scares you first thing in the morning, it's doing it at all. Most people just don't do it at all. You've got a great idea. You know it can work, but you're afraid of judgment. You don't know where to start. You're afraid of it being not perfect and people telling you that you suck and you failing publicly. You're afraid of all that stuff, and so you don't do anything. You got your foot on the gas and brake at the same time, knowing that you're capable of more, knowing that you have greatness in here, but then being too afraid to go off and execute it. And so I think not just starting your day with the thing that scares you, just moving, doing something, anything, just getting started on your crazy idea. It's not that you're leaving it to the afternoon, it's that most people aren't doing it at all. So I was on a call with an entrepreneur friend of mine yesterday, and she was upset, she was frustrated. She had decided mid last year, right? June, July last year, that she needed to let somebody go on her team. This person was being toxic in their environment, was still producing results for the company, but just being a big drag on the company, on the culture, and on herself as trying to lead this team of people. And so she decided, I gotta let this person go. It's 6-7 months later now, and she still hasn't done it. She still hasn't done it because she's afraid of maybe not finding the right person to replace, the impact of having to go through training and hiring all over again. And she just hasn't made the decision. The biggest problem is she has not decided. And so I said, when is this gonna matter to you? You decided, right? Last year, 6, 7, 8 months ago, and you still haven't done the thing. And she said, well, if it gets to a year and I still haven't done it, then I have to go off and do it. And this is where your standards come into place. How long after you've made a decision do you actually start to do something about it? In her case, her standards were a year, in that she decided, but then a year later, that's when it's too much. That's when it's gone too far. That if she hasn't done it in a year, now it's too much. I want you to shorten that gap. Teach yourself that as soon as you decide, you do something, you act, you put the plan into motion, because you don't have that many years left. I look at her, she's not old yet, she's not midlife yet, but you don't have that many years left. And this isn't even that big a decision. Whatever is in front of you is not actually that big a decision. There are much bigger decisions ahead. It may feel like a big decision. It may feel like it. But after you've done it and you get through it, you realize, I could do that again. And there's another bigger decision ahead. You need to shorten the gap between deciding that you want to do something and actually taking action towards it. Who you spend time with is who you become. It's why I created this channel, so you and I can hang out with people like Warren Buffett. You may never meet Warren Buffett, but you can learn from him, you can be inspired by him, and you can change your life for the better by consuming this kind of content. I love modeling success because I learned from Bill Gates. Bill Gates was the first guy that I modeled success from. I had a software company, was struggling, was making no money. I told my partner I quit. And then I asked myself, somebody has done this before. I can't be the first person to try to build a software company. It can't be this hard. Please, somebody's figured this out. And the only person who came to my mind was Bill Gates, who started Microsoft. I hadn't been really that interested in reading. I hadn't been that interested in studying success. I was just trying to come up with ideas myself. And I was desperate, right? I told my partner I quit. I was desperate. I was at rock bottom. And so I said, somebody's figured this out. I can only think of Bill Gates and Microsoft. And so I studied his company and how he started, the 0 to 1, right? How did he make his first million? What did he do? And it was through partnerships. And I applied that strategy to my business. And shortly after, I had my first deal for $13,500. And I felt like I won the lottery. And after that, I had a pattern to use over and over and over again. And since then, it's been 20 years now of sharing that with you guys. It's been, for me, constant learning. It's the name of my channel, Modeling Success. It's why I have all these people behind me on the wall. It's why I make these videos every day. It's why I love learning from people like Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs and Kanye and Oprah and all these people, because they can shift you, because they shifted me. And the thing that they give you, at least for me, they give me one, the inspiration, the motivation, the idea that look at what they started with. If they could start from there and end up at this new place, why can't I? You already have more resources than Bill Gates did when he started. You have more resources than Kanye did, than Steve Jobs did when they started. You're in a better position than they were. And they went off to create amazing things. Go study Oprah's story and tell me that you're in a worse position than Oprah was when she started. You're not. You're not. And so it's inspiration. The other part is tactics, ideas, specific strategies, right? Bill Gates doing partnerships through distributorships, all of these things, learning from that and saying, hey, I can apply that to my business. Maybe not 100%, but it gets you 80% of the way. And instead of you figuring out the entire solution, you just have to figure out how to bridge that 20% gap at the end. It's much easier. It can lead to your success.
If you want 10 more awesome rules for success from Evan, click this video right over here. Continue to believe, and we will see you there.
Until you actually lean in on what you have Michael Jordan ability, genius at, until you actually start doing it, you'll never live the life that you're capable of.